assistance needed. Incoming plane with dark zone drop.
Hey, what is up everyone? The LDB is back at it again, coming at you today with my PvP Max Crit Obliterate build for TU6. Now, I've done an Obliterate build way back in like TU3 or TU4, something like that. So, as you can see, I've been a fan of this talent for a little while now, and now with TU6 helping push that crit a little bit easier, I thought it was time to revisit this talent, and it has been awesome. We are a little bit squishy, but the raw damage that we are doing is absolutely insane, and has been super fun to play with, so I definitely recommend you guys give this one a try. And as always, if you enjoy or find these videos helpful, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content if you are new to the channel, and go ahead and drop a comment down there below. So, let's get into this. Alright everyone, so here we go. As you can see, we have 12 reds, 4 blue, and 0 yellow. That's right, we're going more or less on the glass cannon side of things, and to be honest, I did try out a build that had 0 blues on it and like 15 reds, a true glass cannon build, and to my surprise it worked a little bit better than I thought, but in a meta that is just with all these crazy skills as well as the high armor, you gotta put some blues on the build, so as soon as I did that, it definitely smoothed things out a lot. Our armor's at 246,000, it could be better, but in all reality, a lot of times that I've been seeing people in conflict, they're either at like 500,000 armor or they're at like 200,000 armor or less. Some people have less than 200,000 armor, and those are the guys that get smoked real quick. I'll just have to say it right there. So definitely spec into some blues. That will definitely not hurt you at all. Now, as far as the health goes, we're at 69,000, nothing too crazy, but again, when we are focusing on all these reds and the raw damage, this is basically what you get. And if we go ahead and take a look up top here, I'm going to be using the Demolitionist for my specialization, simply because I'm going to be using the Merciless for my secondary, because I have Spark on my backpack. And if we take a look at Spark here, damaging enemies with skills or explosives grants 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. And that's a really nice buff to have. So, a way to get that to proc very easy is to have this holstered. You have that 5% chance for the bullet to deal 100% damage as explosive damage that will proc Spark, or you can just swap to this weapon, land one shot, as long as it explodes, it will proc Spark, swap back to your primary, and there you go. And that is why I went with the Demolitionist, just to push the explosive damage a little bit further, because on top of everything we got going on in this build, this is just going to push it over the edge. That's all I'm saying right there. So now, let's take a look at these weapons individually. Alright, so my primary weapon here is the FAMAS. I know that's a huge surprise to everybody, right? But this one's actually not too bad. We're hitting for 20.9k per bullet, almost 21k at 900 RPM. And that RPM is definitely where it's at. That means that we're going to be able to take all of this crit, all this weapon damage, and throw it down range very, very quickly, right? Damage per second, DPS, right? And we have 50 in the mag, so that's not too bad at all. Now, as far as the talents go, we have Strained. 5% crit hit damage is gained for every 10% of your armor that is depleted, and that goes hand in hand with Berserk. The less armor you have, the higher weapon damage you get, and your crit damage is based off of your weapon damage. So you can see how this is going to stack very nicely. Now, we also have Accurate on here, which is definitely going to help you out at a distance. Those people that just poke their heads out around the corner and then you can just laser beam them, that will definitely help you out as well. Now, as far as the other talent here, we have Rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when exiting cover. So if I need to, jump into cover, drop my restorative hive, and get some armor back real quick. It's definitely a nice thing to use. Now, as far as the mods go, I have the optic that gives me 5% crit hit damage, the underbarrel that gives me 5% crit hit chance, the muzzle that gives me some stability, and we have the magazine that gives me some extra rounds. Pretty straightforward on that. Now, as far as my secondary goes, like I said, it is the Merciless. That way I can proc Spark a couple different ways by either shooting this weapon and landing an explosive bullet, or having it holstered and landing an explosive bullet from my primary weapon. Pretty straightforward on that, nothing too crazy. And as far as my sidearm goes, it's the lightning rod. I really don't even use this. I just have it because it has recharged on here. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration, charges, and ammo. Now, we're not really talking about ammo, but the duration and the charges will definitely be affected by this, and that is a good thing. So, let's get on to these gear pieces. Alright, so the mask that I'm going to be using is the name Duggan Harding Punch Drunk Mask. We have the 3-piece active of Duggan Harding giving me the 5% accuracy, 10% crit hit damage, and the 7% crit hit chance. The attributes on this piece are 6% crit hit chance, got to get that chance up as much as possible, and we're going to focus on damage later. And we also have some health on there, nothing too crazy, with Perfect Concussion. Headshots grant 20% headshot damage for 2 seconds. So, just stay with me here. If you're up close and you start to face tank somebody, you get this to proc, and at that RPM, let me tell you, it's bad news for them. It's definitely bad news for them. They don't like that at all. So definitely try this one out. It's an awesome mask. Alright, so the chest piece that I'm going to be using is the named Fenris chest, the Ferocious Calm. We get that 10% assault rifle damage from it, as well as the attributes of 28,000 armor, not too bad. We got some more crit chance on there, as well as 14% weapon damage. Overall, I'd have to say that's pretty good. And we get the talents of Perfect Berserk, 10% weapon damage for every 20% of max armor that is depleted. And again, that goes hand in hand with Strained on my primary weapon. You know, we get a damage up 2 different ways just by losing a little bit of armor. As well as Hardened on here, 15% armor. And the mod that I have on here is 1.5% weapon damage, 4% assault rifle damage, and 1% damage to armor. So pretty straightforward on that. Okay, so onto the holster. It is Wyvern. I have the 2-piece active giving me that plus 7% crit hit damage and plus 15% drone skill power. Now, we don't have any skill power on the build, so it's not really going to be doing much for us at all, but we do have a nice roll of 14% crit hit chance, as well as surgical down here with another 10% crit hit chance. So right there, 24 crit hit chance on 1 piece. Gotta love that right there. Now, the mod that I have on here is 1.5 weapon damage, 4 assault rifle damage, and another 1% damage to armor. Okay, so moving on to the knee pads here. They are also Wyvern. I have that nice roll of 9% crit hit chance on there. Gotta love that. And the talent Composure. While in cover, grant 10% total weapon damage. This is probably one of my favorites for PvP. It does work in PvE as well, obviously, but more or less you'd probably be putting Patience or maybe some damage to elites, hard hitting here, something like that. But in PvP, definitely check this one out for sure. Now, you might be thinking, while in cover, you know, you shouldn't be sitting in cover a lot in PvP. But at the same time, again, this does take 11 or more reds to be activated. So with all this crit, all this damage, you can definitely laser beam someone down before they run up to you. And especially if you have a nice line of sight coming from, you know, a little bit of a distance, they're not going to like this at all, I promise you. Definitely try this one out. Now, as far as the mod goes, I have a mod that has that 1.5% weapon damage, 1% damage to armor, and 4% assault rifle damage. Alright, so on to the gloves. These are definitely a crucial part for this build, and I will show you why here in just a moment. We get that attribute of 10% assault rifle damage. That could be a little bit higher, but hey, 10% is still 10%. As well as just a little bitty health roll on there. Any way that you can get more blues or higher blues on the build than I have, definitely be a good thing. Just keep in mind that you do have to have those 11 reds to activate Composure on the knee pads. That's the only tricky part to it. Now moving on to the talents. Obliterate. Depleting an enemy's armor grants 30% crit hit damage for 15 seconds. That is huge because we do have a little bit of crit hit damage already on the build, and we are maxed out on crit chance. We have Strained on the primary weapon, pushing our crit hit damage even further. we can do some amazing crits with this build. Definitely try out Obliterate. And the reason that I'm using that over Clutch is because I don't have a very big health pool. Clutch heals your health back, right? And not having a whole lot of health and having more armor is not really going to be helping me all that much. And depleting an enemy's armor is not all that hard, and then you get that extra 30% crit hit damage. Basically, after their armor bar is gone, they just fall down. It doesn't matter. I don't care how much health you have, you're falling right down. This is amazing. Try it out. Alright, so on to the last piece here, the backpack. It doesn't have the best attributes, but it does have the talents that I was looking for. And that's what I was focusing on over anything else, really. And not to mention, Duggan Harding, to me at least, is a pain in the padded ass to get something that rolls halfway decent. And this one had some weapon damage, so I stuck with it. We got 6% weapon damage on there. That's definitely going to help a little bit. It could be higher. A little bit of armor, again, that could be a lot higher, could definitely help out. But we also get some more crit chance, and again, that's another roll I was looking for, get that extra 5% on there. But again, the talents are what make it. We have Spark, damaging enemies with a skill or explosive, grants 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. Gotta love that. On top of Obliterate, on top of Composure, on top of Berserk, on top of Concussion, on top of Strained, and, I mean, the explosive damage itself. This is crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy. And we also have Vital. That's pretty much a must on a Berserk build. Regardless of what your armor is set at, get that health up as much as you can. Now, as far as the mod goes on this weapon, it is another 1.5 weapon damage, 2% rifle damage, and 4% assault rifle damage. I wish I had another one that gave me that damage to armor, but it is what it is. We got that weapon damage up and the assault rifle damage, and that is the important part. Alright, so now that we got those gear pieces out of the way, let's take a look at these skills. I'm going to be using the Defender drone overall. You can go with the Striker drone. That will work as well. It will help you proc Spark. And it's also like, like a mosquito buzzing in someone's ear. It's very irritating. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but they typically will turn around, try to shoot it, and when they do, as soon as they break focus from you, lay into them. That's a little trick for me. I'll just let you know. Overall, I like the Defender drone more because we have that PvP damage reduction of 20%, and the health is only 202,000, so it will get popped somewhat easily. But if I can get that 20% damage reduction for that short period of time and be dealing all this damage, it works out very, very nice. Definitely try that out. Now, as far as the Restorer Hive, I think this is kind of overlooked a lot because it doesn't heal all that much in PvP. It's only 18,900 hit points. For the healing, but when I set this thing down at full armor, I have like 31 charges. That's enough to heal me and the majority of the team back pretty easily. So definitely try that one out. I've definitely been using this a lot more lately, and it's been awesome. Now, you could always go with the Nerf Gun Specialist and use the Artificer Hive. That way it will help keep up your Defender drone. Again, though, the only difference is the drone doesn't have that much health to begin with, so if it gets popped, you have an Artificer Hive that's just sitting there doing shit for you. Okay, so think about it like that. Just put it that way. And as far as grenades go, I'm just going with concussion grenade, just basic stuff. So overall, that is the build in a whole. Before we go ahead and sign off, let's just go ahead and take a look at the character sheet and do a quick little recap. Alright everyone, so before we go ahead and sign off, let's just do a quick little recap here on the stat sheet and see how everything lines up. We have the weapon talents here of Strained, we have Accurate, we have Rooted, we also have Brutality and Recharge. Bunch of good stuff, As far as the weapon stats go, we're sitting at 20.9k per bullet in PvE. In PvP, that drops down to 14,300. I know that's kind of scary to look at. It was for me as well, but with that RPM and 60% crit chance, that's right, we maxed out that crit chance. I think I'm actually a percent or two over, but I'm not really too worried about it. We maxed out that crit chance, so that number is definitely going to be going up. Don't worry about that at all. And we have 47% crit hit damage base before Obliterate or Strain come into play. And if we play our cards right, I think we could get that crit hit damage up to about 100%, or at least close to it. As far as the headshot damage, 55%. 28 range, 2.4 reload time, and we also have some accuracy and stability on here. These two will definitely help you out if you're in cover, trying to make those shots at a distance, using composure, being in cover. A little bit of accuracy, stability, never hurt no one. That's all I can say. Try that one out right there. Now, as far as offensive goes, this came out really nice for me. We got 26% all weapon damage bonus and 51% assault rifle damage bonus. That brings us to a grand total of, what is that, 77% weapon damage bonus on top of max crit. You see where I'm going with this. You see where I'm going. This it might start to make sense now. We're just doing so much damage. It is absolutely amazing. And we also have 3% armor damage on there, so any way that you can strip off that armor just a little bit faster, just 3% faster, is a good thing. You get Obliterate and get them crit damage going like crazy. We have some health damage on here. We have 25% explosive damage on top of the 100% that we're going to get from the bullet on the Merciless. Gotta love that. So they're definitely going to feel that a little bit. It's not anything too crazy, but it will definitely work out. Now we also have the gear talents down here. This is where it's at, guys. I absolutely love this part of the stat sheet. We have Spark, we have Vital, we have Perfect Berserk, Hardened, Perfect Concussion, Obliterate, Composure, and Surgical. You add all these up, you get damage. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about that. Line these up, and you will be in a good place. And as far as the brand sets go, nothing too crazy. We have a 3-piece Dug and Harding. We have 1 Fenris and 2 Wyvern. Okay, nothing too crazy to go out and farm at all. Now, as far as the defense goes, we're at 246,000 armor. We don't have any armor on a kill, which bums me out. Our max health is 69,000. We don't have any health on a kill, which again would be nice, but again in PvP it's not exactly the biggest thing you need. We have some health regeneration, 34,000. We also have 50% pulse resistance coming from the Demolitionist tree. Gotta love that. So everybody using them pulses on me, yeah, well, knock it down 50%. Not too bad. And we also have, where is it? There it is, 20% burn resistance. That is definitely a good thing when you don't have a whole lot of health. That, because status effects definitely will screw your health up real quick. But other than that, moving on to, we have the drone that I was using. We already talked about that. As far as the Hive, talked about that as well. And we have some of the Dark Zone perks there as well. So overall, guys, that is it. I really, really hope you enjoy it. Try this one out. The DPS is through the roof, and it's really, really fun to play with. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my PvP max crit build for TU6 with Obliterate for the cherry on top. This build has been really fun putting together, testing, and just overall playing with, because just the damage that we're doing is insane. So I hope that you give it a try, and as always, if you enjoy or find this video helpful, please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe for future content if you are new to the channel, and go ahead and feel free to drop a comment down there below. So until next time, guys, I hope you take it easy. I will see you then. Later.